Getting organized so you can feel a sense of peace and calmness throughout your days and throughout your weeks can be very, very difficult. I know from personal experience, having tried so many different things to get organized and to be more productive, how difficult it can be to find something that works. And not just something that works, but something that works consistently. And after years of trial and error, I finally come up with a 4-step planning system that is simple to follow and that is highly effective. And I wanted to make this video to share it with you. Before I get there, if you're new here, my name is Jorge Calaos. I'm a business lawyer based in Florida, specializing in high-stakes lawsuits, and in this channel we explore the principles and the strategies to help us live more productive, meaningful, and fulfilling lives. All right, now let's get straight into the 4-step planning system. Step number 1 is to update the master task list. Now, the master task list is the place where everything goes. Every task that has to get done, every idea that I have about something that I could do, every experiment that I want to run, all of these things end up on this master task list. It works really well if you are disciplined with how you use the list. So if every time that you have something that needs to be done, it goes in that list, then this list works really well. And the reason it works so well is I'm sure you can relate to feeling like something is falling through the cracks, like something important that needs to be done isn't being done because you can't think of it at that moment in time. And so whenever you have that anxiety and that worry, all you have to do is go to the master task list, and if it's not there, then you're probably good. So the list doesn't just help you organize your life better, it also helps you reduce anxiety and overwhelm. Now, this step 1 of updating the master task list is not really a step, it's just something that you do every single time you have something come up that needs to go on that list. And something you can do with this master task list is to break it down into categories. So the way I have mine broken down, I have a part of the master task list that is for content. I have a part of the master task list that is for law. I have a part of the master task list that is for things I want to do around the house, and then another one for personal stuff, etc. By the way, before I explain step 2, I want to explain why I call it a task list and not a to-do list. I don't like the phrase to-do list because it implies that the things in that list have to be done or else something bad will happen. And the reason I don't like that terminology is because oftentimes, and maybe you can relate, we put things on a to-do list that don't actually have to be done. They are more ideas, they are experiments that we want to run, but when they're put on that to-do list, it makes us feel like we're constantly behind because those things aren't being done. And one of the things that I've realized in my productivity journey is that not all the things on your to-do list are going to be done, and that's okay. Particularly if you are a high-performing, ambitious person with goals, your list of things to do will never be empty. And that is something that we have to live with. And one way to live with it is to change the terminology of to-do list to task list. They're just tasks. So back to step 2, the weekly task list. Every single week, I personally do this on a Sunday evening. I go through my master task list and I do 2 things. The first thing that I do is I take all the things from that master task list that need to be done that week and I put them on the weekly task list. Step 2, if step 1 hasn't filled the weekly task list with enough things, I will go back to the master task list and I will get all the things that I want to do as soon as possible, and then I will put those on the weekly task list. Now I start my week with a list of things that I have to do. So instead of going into the week all haphazardly, trying to figure out what it is I have to do and worrying over whether important things are falling through the cracks, none of that happens because I start the week off with the weekly task list. Step 3 is to take this weekly task list and transform it into a daily task list. Now, I will say that I don't always do this because sometimes my weekly task lists are composed of 4 big projects, so it wouldn't really make sense to break them down into a daily task list, but it could make sense to break them down into a daily task list. And the way you remain organized with this is that every day, either at the end of the previous day or at the beginning of the day, I prefer the end of the previous day because that way the next day I can just start doing the things that I have to do instead of trying to get organized. I prefer to get organized the day before. And so what I do is that the day before, I take literally 5, maybe 10 minutes to update the list for the next day. And what that allows me to do is it allows me to wake up the next day and sit at my desk the next day and know exactly what it is that I'm going to do for that day. And it removes all of the guesswork and all of the anxiety out of the equation. Now, step 4 is kind of like step 1 in that it's not really a step, but rather something that you should do repeatedly and consistently, and that is to keep the weekly task list nearby. The reason for this is that a task list is useless if you're not using it. And so often, I don't know if you can relate to this, you'll have a to-do list, or you'll have like 4, because sometimes life gets messy like that, but you'll have these lists and they will be on your desk somewhere, and then they will sit in a corner for weeks, and then you finally find it when you get some moment of peace in your week and you go, damn, these things were supposed to have been done days ago. And so it's important to remain organized with these lists, and one of the ways that we remain organized with these lists is by keeping the weekly task list nearby. The reason that helps us stay organized is because it's a constant reminder of the things that have to be done in the next couple of days. And so when we're constantly reminded of the things that have to be done in the next couple of days, it allows us to constantly keep a list of priorities in our head. And it prevents us from forgetting, task number 4 because I'm too consumed with tasks number 1 and 2. As I'm sure you can relate, when the week starts, sometimes things get hectic, and sometimes when things get hectic, we forget about what we did at the beginning of the week in terms of listing out the things that we have to do. And so if life gets hectic and we forget that we have to do certain things, then the system isn't functioning because things are falling through the cracks. And so one of the ways that we keep that system functioning is by keeping the weekly task list nearby, so we're always reminded of the most urgent things that have to be done. Now, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to join the community, subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment letting me know what you liked and what you want to see more of. It helps me create more videos. And if you got value out of this video, I think you'll also enjoy this video on why you're always busy but never productive. And as always, if you want more resources, feel free to check out the link in the description box below, where you can go to my website and where you can download your free copy of the 5-Step Morning Routine, a quick start guide to high performance and peace of mind. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video.